Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a minute since I've uploaded a full video, but I have been at the Cannes Film Festival. It was a lot of fun going to France. It was my first time going out of the country. I went with a lot of my friends from my school, and it was a lot of fun. This is my tier list video of everything that I watched. You guys should definitely check out my Twitch channel this month. I'm doing a full month of charity streams for Pride Month. All proceeds will be going to the Trevor Project, and we'll go ahead and get started. The first movie that I saw that really stuck out to me was The Girl with the Needle. This is a movie about a woman who, while trying to go and put her baby up for adoption, she begins to work with this underground adoption ring, and it takes some wild twists and turns from there. It's really graphic. It's a very, very hard film to watch. It has a lot of graphic depictions of violence in it, and if that is not your bag, you should avoid The Girl with the Needle. But if you want something that will really challenge you and make you think, and that's based off of a really sad true story, you really need to check it out. The next movie that I saw that really had an impact on me was Rendezvous avec Pol Pot. It's basically about these three journalists who go to Cambodia in the 70s to try and have a meeting with Pol Pot. It's another really good one. It has a lot of questions about journalism and what the role of journalism is, especially in today's media climate where journalism is kind of a dirty word. It shows that seeking the truth and putting the truth out there in our media is a very important job. And Rendezvous avec Pol Pot has like three different perspectives coming from each character. This movie has the woman from the Three Colors Red movie, if anyone is familiar with that. Overall, it's a very strong movie. I'm putting it at the B tier because it wandered a lot. And don't get me wrong, I like art films and art films that tend to wander into themselves, and this film has a lot of artistic portrayals of the violence that Cambodia inflicted against itself, but at times I felt it drag on a little too much, and overall it didn't jump out to me as much as other films in this lineup did. The next one that I really want to talk about is Horizon: An American Saga. This is going in the D tier. I was not a fan of this. So basically, the Horizon: An American Saga was originally supposed to be a TV series, and it feels like that. It feels like 4 episodes crammed into a really long 3-hour runtime. This would work so much better as a series, it really would, but no, they're editing it into 4 different movies. The second of which is coming out this year as well. It's wild. Frankly, I'm not looking forward to the barrage of sagas that we're going to be getting. Yeah, this is just not a great time for cinema, but that's a whole nother rant for a whole nother video. Up next, but no, with Horizon was just a very, very bad. It wasn't even that bad. It was just strange, and there were characters that would be really important, and then they don't show up for the rest of the movie, and there are things that just don't get resolved, and it doesn't tell any complete stories. It's poorly edited television put together as a film. Hopefully the second part makes up for the first part. The next movie that I want to talk about is The Apprentice. The Apprentice is going in the S tier. It is such a great movie. I am so sad that no American distributors want to pick this up, because it's the only thing I can compare it to is The Great Dictator, but with a lot less humor in it. It's an epic in greed and a drive for world domination. There are so many scenes in here that are just echoes of what were to come in the later years of this man's life. And it's just such a strange journey through the ego of one person as it is being formed. I think everybody needs to check out The Apprentice. There is something for everyone in this movie. The next movie I want to talk about is The Damned. The Damned is a Italian movie about the American Civil War that the only thing I can compare it to is the Apocalypse Now like the second act of Apocalypse Now, but stretch that into an entire movie. And this movie is really good. It won Best Director at the festival, which, I mean, the Anora sweep was something a lot of people saw coming, but this getting Best Director is I understand. This was a good little movie, and it has a very unique style. It's almost like if Chloe Zhao directed a movie about the Civil War. It's really good. The next movie I want to talk about is something almost completely different called Angelo Into the Wonder Woods. It's a nice little animated picture that was, I'm not sure, it wasn't in competition, but it was really fun. It's very lighthearted, very, if you want like a nice animated picture and you're not looking for a Miyazaki picture, Angelo Into the Wonder Woods is something you need to check out. The reason I'm putting it in the C tier is because compared to the others in the festival, it's not as good, but it is miles better than Horizon and American Saga. Don't get me wrong, it's a great movie, it's just not as good as what is above it. Angelo Into the Wonder Woods is a very, very solid animated movie. It's basically about this kid who goes like on a road trip to see his sick grandmother, and then they stop at a gas station, and then his family leaves, and then they leave Angelo behind, and he goes into the woods and he learns about himself, and he in the end he saves his grandmother, and it's really cute, it's really fun, and overall it has a great style, and you need to see it. The next movie I want to talk about is O Canada. O Canada is also going in the A tier. O Canada is probably my second favorite of the festival, the first being The Apprentice. O Canada was such a unique film. It shows why people wanted to go to Canada and why they wanted to escape the draft, but also having it become a portrait of a very flawed man. And it's, I think, one of Paul Schrader's best films I've ever seen from him. It's kind of basically Paul Schrader reflecting on himself and his friends and a lot of the people who he grew up with. It really struck me close to home. It's because it's such a really good movie about a young person wanting to be a writer, and it's really unique, and it has such a great style to it. It's the framing device here is that the main character, who is a very successful journalist and nonfiction filmmaker, who is the subject of a documentary about his life, and he is basically doing a really long interview, confessing to a lot of things, and it's really good, and it's a very raw depiction of what life can be at the end of your life. The next movie I want to talk about is All We Imagine Is Light. All We Imagine Is Light is going in the B tier as well. All We Imagine Is Light is a movie from India about these two nurses as they go about their lives and their love lives and their relationships and the relationship they have between each other. It's a slice of life film. It's a very slow movie, which you'll see I put a lot of slow movies at the B tier. Don't get me wrong, I like slow movies. It's just All We Imagine Is Light is just there's not much going on with it. It has a unique soundtrack, it has a great visual style. It's just the story has a lot to be desired. Actually, I'm gonna move it to the C tier. Yeah, I'm moving it to the C tier. It's a lot of people who I went to the festival with loved it, and I know I'm probably going to catch some flack for it, but I'm putting All We Imagine Is Light as C tier. It just was not interesting. Probably another one that will get me flack. I'm putting Parthenope at D. It's the first movie I've ever walked out of. It's just, oh my god, a hot woman has problems. Oh no. That's so new and original. And it's the way they handled her brother's suicide. No, I'm leaving on that note. One that I really liked was Rumors. Rumors is a political comedy. It's very dry. It has Charles Dance doing absolutely nothing to hide his British accent. when he's playing the American president. It's basically about these G7 leaders doing nothing and treating a zombie apocalypse as something almost bureaucratic. All the performances here warrant the ticket alone. If you get the chance to see Rumors, see it for the political comedy angle of it, because the performances are just hilarious. The closest thing I could compare this to would be Doctor Strangelove, but in a zombie apocalypse. Frankly, there's nothing else like it. It loses a lot of its direction in the second and third acts, but it's really good. It's a highlight of the festival. Megalopolis is a really hard film to describe. There is a lot you can say about it, but the one thing that I really want to say is that despite the flawed writing, despite the strange directing choices, despite the lackadaisical writing and pace, and a lot of sequences that just go nowhere when it comes to the plot, despite all of that, it's a really good movie. But I'm putting it at C tier. It is, holy hell, it is a movie that does not have a direction. It is not a movie that has really anything going for it other than the monstrous behemoth it has become. It's imagine The Matrix, but if a boomer made it. It's like if it's a sci-fi sword and sandal movie, right? Where Adam Driver is basically playing Caesar Catalina in a sci-fi Roman version of New York. It sounds like I'm having a stroke just trying to describe the movie, and that's really the best way to describe it. It's like having a fucking stroke. It's insane. Don't get me wrong. I liked watching the film. It was just strange. There were sequences that just had no point. Aubrey Plaza's character is the best part of it. There's no doubt about that, in my opinion. Aubrey Plaza was the best part about that movie, and she gets killed by Jon Voight, who hides a crossbow pretending it to be his boner. Then he kills Aubrey Plaza because Aubrey Plaza is trying to take over the government with her nephew / lover Shia LaBeouf. I'm not kidding about that. That it's a very strange movie. Fun fact, there is a moment where a guy is supposed to come out of the crowd and walk up to the screen and ask Adam Driver a question as if he were a journalist at a press conference, right? But like there is supposed to be a hired actor in your screening stepping out of the crowd and asking Adam Driver a question. Here's the issue. That guy at my screening missed his cue, and it was so funny. It was so funny. Megalopolis is a movie you have to see to believe. I'll leave a link to my official review of it. In fact, I'll leave a link to my Letterboxd in the description. The Substance is another movie that I want to talk about. I'm putting The Substance in the A tier. The Substance is a feminist body horror movie. If you ever saw the movie Revenge from like 2017, then the director who did that did this movie. It's really a movie about aging in Hollywood and what the anti-aging process basically does to you mentally, and what can happen to your own psychology and your own psyche when you start getting loads of plastic surgery and like lip fillers and all of that. The Substance is a really good body horror movie. It will freak you out. It will make you uncomfortable, but overall, it's a really good film. It won Best Screenplay at the festival. Overall, it's just a fantastic film. And last but not least, we have The Most Precious of Cargoes. The Most Precious of Cargoes is the animated picture in the official competition of the Cannes Film Festival. It is a movie about a poor woodcutter and his wife who live next to a train track. And they live in, I believe, Germany in the time of the Holocaust. And the train drives Holocaust survivors into the camps. And one guy shoves his baby out the window, and the woodcutter and his wife take the baby, and they take care of it, and the woodcutter is super anti-Semitic at the beginning, but then he grows to love their new adopted daughter, and then they get found out, and the woodcutter dies for the baby, and then it's such a precious film. The ending is fantastic. It has made this is one film that I could hear. There was not a dry eye in the house at the end of this. It was such a fantastic film. If you're only going to see one movie or two movies from this, you need to see The Most Precious of Cargoes and The Apprentice. Overall, this was a very, very strong festival. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to see Anora. Anora is a film that a lot of people in my cohort liked, and unfortunately, I didn't get the chance to see it. The one time I was almost able to get to see a screening of it was with Parthenope. There was a Parthenope screening and an Anora screening. I was like, you know what? I like Sean Baker's movies, but I haven't heard of anybody on Parthenope, and so I'm going to go with the unfamiliar one, and we see how much I liked Parthenope. Overall, this was a very strong festival. I was a huge fan of a lot of the choices that were made with the selection, and overall, this was just a very, very fun festival. Thank you everyone for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, follow, hit the links in my description. There's going to be my Letterboxd description, my official reviews. All of that will be up there in the description. Please check that out. Have a great rest of your day and check out my streams.